For 5 years after we got married, I couldn't get pregnant. Marcus urged me to leave the company we founded together and focus on recovering at home. After many arguments, I finally gave in and went to find him, resignation letter in hand. Instead, I overheard his conversation with friends. Marcus, so, are you really trying for a baby now? I thought it was just an excuse to sideline Grace. Then those birth control pills you had me get for you, do you still need them? Taking too many isn't good in the long run. Why go through all this trouble with pills when it's going to happen eventually? Marcus replied coldly, because I do want a child, but not with Grace. He lowered his head and kissed Chloe, who was in his arms. The mother of my child must be a pure and innocent college student. Everyone exchanged glances. Everyone knew that Marcus's wife, Grace, had dropped out of school to work, selling drinks at a bar and dancing at an upscale nightclub, all to earn money to support Marcus's startup in the early years. Someone spoke softly. Then why don't you divorce her? Because I love her, and my wife can only be Grace. The others in the private room echoed his words, but I found it absurd. So that's it. In the end, love was all about conscience. Through the door, Marcus's gentle, coaxing tone as he soothed Chloe in the private room was clearly audible. Be a good girl, Chloe, give me a son, and he'll be the heir to Yenha. The girl shyly retorted, no way. I'm not your wife. Why cling to a mere title? Is it because I don't spend enough time with you? Or don't give you enough affection? Someone chimed in, exactly, Chloe, you should be content. Since you came along, has Marcus brought anyone else but you to our gatherings? That's right, last time when you and Grace both had your eyes on a necklace at the auction house, Marcus ended up bidding on it for you, didn't he? So, when he said the price was driven too high and wasn't worth it, it was because giving it to me wasn't worth it. And that other time, Grace went to the hospital in the middle of the night, and you suddenly craved noodles cooked by Marcus himself. He had to call me to the hospital to stay with Grace while he rushed off to make you noodles. My heart clenched. I had suffered stomach bleeding from heavy drinking to secure investments, and he'd told me he had an urgent business trip, asking his friend to stay with me instead, claiming he wouldn't be at ease otherwise. I even felt guilty, blaming myself for my body's weakness. As they recounted one example after another, my heart sank deeper and deeper. Finally, it shattered completely. Though it was a June day, I felt a chill all around me. I tore up the resignation letter in my hand, the one meant to show him my goodwill. Then, I dialed a number I hadn't called in a long time. Help me look into Marcus, I just need his romantic history from the past few years. A scoff came from the other end. What, you cut ties with me because of something he said back then, and now you're finding out I was right? Some people are just ungrateful wolves, impossible to tame. Remember what I told you? Marcus is too arrogant. Your selfless devotion, which he appreciated at first, would eventually become a burden to him. I remembered. But when I was young, I didn't think about such things. I just knew that when I loved, I wanted to give my all. Thankfully, it wasn't too late to turn back now. Just tell me if you can't help, or won't help. After all, I know Marcus isn't someone who can be easily touched these days. I could have hired a private detective, but Marcus wasn't stupid. He had managed to hide it from me for so long, I didn't want to tip him off. The other person was silent for a moment. Wait, 3 days at the most, and Leo will dig up everything for you, even which girl Marcus kissed when he was a kid. I hung up with a smile. Still so easily provoked. 11:50. Finally, the sound of the door op. Meaning. Marcus leaned against the doorframe, clearly drunk, with Chloe carefully helping him. He had explicitly said not to drink while trying for a baby, but he always claimed it was unavoidable. I used to believe he truly couldn't help it, but now it just seemed like an excuse. That way, I would actively refuse his advances. It was more effective than any birth control pills. I didn't get up. Chloe struggled to support Marcus as she brought him into the house. As she passed me, she softly called out, Ms. Grace. I didn't speak, watching her lead him directly into the master bedroom. She removed his shoes and socks, then went to the kitchen to make a cup of lemon and honey water. As leaned against her, drinking the water, he looked up and saw me outside the door. He turned back, confused, as if only just realizing that I wasn't the one taking care of him. He swatted the cup away and reached out to me. I walked over to him. Chloe, startled, steadied the cup, and a flicker of humiliation crossed her otherwise calm eyes. Immediately, Marcus sharply reprimanded her. Chloe? What are you doing in here? Don't you know Grace doesn't like anyone else coming in? She murmured, I didn't know. Didn't you read the assistant's guidelines? Go back and read them carefully. If this happens again, you're out. Chloe's face was pale, and her lustrous eyes were faintly red. She looked at me, then at Marcus. "Mr. Marcus, I'm sorry. I just saw you'd had too much to drink. I was worried and forgot for a moment. I won't forget again." Marcus's face was icy. "Forget it. You can go home. Next time I drink too much at a corporate event, have secretary send me home. I don't like other women touching me." Chloe bent down to place the clear glass by the bed, her gaze lingering on Marcus's face. Then, seemingly inadvertently, she avoided my gaze and turned to leave. Marcus struggled to sit up, pulling me into his embrace as he explained. "Grace, I'm sorry. I drank too much and mistook he are for you." I lowered my eyes, looking at the top of his head. I asked, "Who is she?" Marcus paused. "Chloe, my new assistant. She's a bit careless." He had hired a new assistant at the same company, yet I was only just meeting her today. It showed just how strained our relationship had become recently. "Fire her? What?" Marcus looked up in shock. Even, who hadn't gone far, stopped and turned back to look at me. "She's still in her probationary period, isn't she? If she's not a good fit, let her go. No need to waste each other's time. Have HR handle the process tomorrow. Ensure she receives proper compensation." "Mr. Marcus." Chloe stood rooted to the spot, flustered and tear-streaked. Marcus didn't look at her, merely telling her coldly to leave. Chloe ran out, crying. "Are you serious?" Marcus frowned. I didn't speak. Marcus stood up, loosening his tie with one hand. "Is it because she entered our home, or because she gave me water to drink? You're going to make a young woman who just started her career lose her job over such a trivial matter? Grace, when did you become this kind of person? Or are you just taking your anger out on her?" My gaze fixed on a faint red mark on the back of his neck, a blatant and audacious provocation. Marcus took my silence as agreement. He squeezed my hand. "All right, don't be angry. If you don't want to resign, we can discuss it later. But it's Chloe's first time at our house today, so it's normal for her not to know the rules. Besides, giving me water is part of her job, there's nothing wrong with that. Stop being so jealous, you've scared the young woman to tears. Go apologize to her later, and let's just drop this." My gaze shifted from the red mark to the glass by the bed. Yellow lemon slices floated up and down in the cup. I spoke softly. "Marcus, I've never bought lemons, and we never keep honey at home. Tell me, how did someone who was here for the first time find these?" Over the years, Marcus and I had argued and fought. We broke up several times, only to reconcile in the end. Our arguments had been over the company, over decisions, even over each other's health. But never because of a third party. In my senior year of high school, my grandma passed away. She was the only relative I had left in the world. I was once desperate, unable to find meaning in my existence. When was alive, she always saved money, but never skimped on me. She used to say, "My little Grace needs to eat and drink well to grow up strong." She told me to study hard and work to get out of harmony. She'd say, "The world outside is wonderful, you have to see it for yourself." But no matter how much she said, I still didn't understand. My wish was simple: study hard, get into a good university, find a good job, earn money, and let grandma see the wonderful world outside too. Yet, before it all even began, my aspirations were crushed. Before past, she held my hand, repeatedly urging me to live well. I drifted through that period in a daze. Grandma's friends, Marcus's parents, couldn't bear to see me like that, so they took me into their home for a while. They also asked Marcus, who was already in college, to talk to me and guide me. After that, it was just the ordinary story of a young girl's secret crush. Once, I believed Marcus was my light. I was like a moth drawn to the flame, throwing myself wholeheartedly towards him. In his early entrepreneurial days, when he lacked funds, I gave him my old family home's sale money and all my savings. Then I took a leave of absence from school to work, doing anything that would earn money. By day, I was a real estate agent. By night, I sold drinks at a bar. Later, I met Leo. He introduced me to an upscale nightclub where I could dance. Aside from the unsavory reputation, the income was higher, and I didn't have to drink myself senseless. The day I made that decision, my leave of absence turned into a full withdrawal from school. Marcus held me, silent. I smiled, patted his back, and said casually, "It's fine. I went to school just to make a lot of money. As long as your company succeeds, I'll be a major shareholder, which is much better than the measly salaries I'd get after graduating." Later, Marcus succeeded. He became Mr. Marcus, and I became Mrs. Marcus. Our conversation that night died down without resolution, as Marcus used his ill health to avoid confronting me. The night passed in silence. The next morning, we ate breakfast quietly at the dining table. Just before leaving, Marcus made a call in front of me, notified to process her resignation. He was showing weakness to me, and also making a compromise. The old me would have let it slide. After all, on the surface, it seemed like just a new assistant with too many ideas, and Marcus hadn't committed any irreversible mistakes. If I hadn't seen him embracing and kissing her, or if I hadn't heard his friends' teasing remarks, I couldn't bring myself to be magnanimous, nor could I directly confront him. As I was deliberating how to speak up, Marcus's phone rang. After answering, his expression instantly changed. He grabbed his car keys and left, without even a word of goodbye to me. Watching his hurried departure, I stared blankly. Had forgotten me? So it was. Love manifests itself. Lack of love also leaves its traces. When I arrived at the company, I vaguely felt that everyone was looking at me. Their gazes held scrutiny and sympathy. It wasn't until Olivia, the HR manager, found me and got straight to the point. "Ms. Grace, what's going on with you and Mr. Marcus?" I had hired her for the company, and mentored her for several months. We were practically both teacher and friend. I raised an eyebrow. This morning, he told me to fire his assistant, Chloe. As soon as I informed her, Chloe made a tearful call. And then? She looked at me, her voice resigned. There was no then. Chloe just kept crying, so the procedure couldn't be processed. Thinking of that morning's call, my heart grew colder. I knew she had more to say, and sure enough, then Marcus rushed over, and Chloe conveniently fainted from crying. Mr. Marcus picked her up and personally took her to the hospital. Got it. I walked to my desk, sat down, and stared blankly at my computer desktop. "Ms. Grace, aren't you going to call and ask?" Olivia said, frustrated with my inaction. "I know you trust Mr. Marcus, but people change. Given Marcus's current status, you might be able to guarantee your love for him remains the same, but what about him? You need to pay more attention to him. Don't just bury yourself in work." I opened my mouth, but only felt a pang of bitterness and injustice. Why was he the one who declared his love for me back then, and now he was also the one humiliating me? As a friend, this is all I can say. As for Chloe's future here, I'll await Mr. Marcus's instructions. She paused. "Never mind. Take some time to process this yourself. If you need anything, contact me. As a friend, I'm always here for you." I nodded slightly. I understood her intentions. After today, rumors would surely spread, and judging by Marcus's attitude, they might not be innocent. Olivia's point was that Chloe couldn't stay at the company, and I should sever their connection sooner rather than later. I thought of the resignation letter I had torn up last night. Did's eagerness for me to resign and stay home also stem from this consideration? He said it was for me to recuperate, but he clearly never intended for me to bear his child. I called him. The phone rang once and was immediately hung up. No explanation, no call back. In the afternoon, Marcus and Chloe returned to the company together. Marcus came to find me. "Chloe just graduated, it wouldn't look good if she were fired before her probation period is even over," he said indifferently. "She hasn't committed any major mistakes, after all. She even fainted from crying this morning when she heard she was being dismissed." Marcus knew what bothered me. He specifically mentioned, "I've already informed her that she's been reassigned to a different department and will no longer be my assistant. Won't that ease your mind a bit?" I looked up, at Marcus's handsome face. Not overly striking, but he had the advantage of youth. With his age and wealth, he certainly faced many temptations. Faint voices drifted from outside. "Miss, wait a moment, Mr. Marcus is inside." The door was already open. Marcus's expression changed. "Get out. Mr. Marcus, please let me have a word with Ms. Grace," Chloe said, her face full of defiance. The resentment in her eyes was almost overflowing. "Ms. Grace, I was wrong to enter your home last night without your permission. But aren't you also wrong? Mr. Marcus was out at a corporate event, got drunk, and came home all alone. With no one to take care of him. Do you not care about him at all?" Chloe looked at me defiantly. "I know you're upset, but you don't have the right to fire me because of it. Furthermore, mixing personal feelings with work, as you're doing, that's what's truly wrong." Chloe became more agitated as she spoke, clearly imagining herself a hero for upholding workplace ethics. "If you can't stand someone else taking care of Mr. Marcus, then I think you're the one who needs to be reassigned to a different department. You should step down from your vice position and become Mr. Marcus's special assistant." I looked at her, then at Marcus standing beside her. The scene was like a pair of lovers being forcefully separated. And I was the one doing the separating. Now, it was my turn to speak. "Chloe, isn't it? First, you entered my home without my permission, and that makes me very unhappy. Second, even if I weren't Mrs. Marcus, I'm still Ms. Grace, and I believe I have the authority to dismiss you. Finally, I stared into her eyes and said coldly, what happens between Mr. Marcus and me is not for you to comment on. If you're dissatisfied, you'll just have to endure it. Of course, if you're truly capable, you can always convince Marcus to give you the position of Mrs. Marcus. No sooner had I finished speaking than Marcus suddenly erupted in anger. He strode forward, grabbed my arm, and pulled me into his embrace. Grace, my wife, Marcus's wife, can only be you. Then he roared at Chloe. Get out, don't make me say it a third time. And this job, if you want it, do it, if not, then get lost. Don't think you're indispensable. Chloe ran out, crying. I leaned against Marcus in his arms, listening to his steady heartbeat. I was clearly the one being defended, yet I felt no joy. I leaned in his arms, pretending to be comforted, but my mind was in turmoil. Marcus's anger had come too suddenly. Having followed him all these years, I'd seen every trick in the business world, and navigated social hierarchies at corporate events. I'd witnessed everything. He shouldn't have lost his temper so easily. It only made him seem more guilty. These past few days, I clearly felt that Marcus and I could never go back to how we were. Even if he no longer attended corporate events and clocked in and out on time every day. He even made time to have dinner and watch movies with me. But once the seed of doubt is sown, it will take root and sprout. I went to see a divorce lawyer, preparing for a dignified separation. Leo's documents arrived just as I was about to head back to the company. Grace, I've sent you the investigation files. Okay, thank you. Then, the other end kept showing typing. I found it amusing and sent a message. What's up? Just say it, keeping things bottled up isn't your style. After a long pause, he only replied, reach out if you need anything else. My heart sank. After a moment's thought, I turned the car around, heading home instead of to the company. No matter what the situation, I was absolutely in no mood to work today. I sat in my home office and opened the files. I read it more fully than any project report I had ever seen. Leo certainly lived up to his reputation in this line of work. Though the investigation was brief, the report was incredibly detailed. Every one of Marcus's mistresses had a thorough background check. Yes, every single one. From the time we got married and started trying for a baby until today. Nearly 5 years. He had never stopped. Apparently, my marriage had been riddled with holes without my knowledge. I turned page after page, my heart sinking little by little. Marcus had hidden it well. He only sought out women from other cities, meeting them each time during his business trips. He would change them out every 3 months or so, until appeared more than a year ago. After that, no new faces appeared by his side. All these girls had one thing in common, young, beautiful college students. I finally understood his words that night, the mother of my child must be a pure and innocent college student. How laughable. My education and reputation, which I had sacrificed for love. After his gratitude wore off, they became thorns in his heart. These thorns grew in his heart, clutched in his hand. But in the end, every single one pierced me. When returned, I had just transferred money to Leo. After all, I couldn't let him work for free. Marcus seemed a bit surprised to see me emerge from the home office. Why aren't you at work? He approached me. You look so pale. Are you feeling unwell? I'll take you to the hospital. I shook my head, asking him in return, why are you back? I have an urgent business trip, came back to pack a few things. I nodded, and stood up, walking towards the guest room. You can pack then, I'm going to rest for a bit. He grabbed my arm. No rush, let me take you to the hospital first. I refused. No need, it's probably just the medication I'm taking for trying for a baby. I'll be fine after a nap. Marcus wanted to say more, but his phone rang. He glanced at it, then hung up. I took the opportunity to walk away. After a moment, I turned back and asked him, how many days will this trip be? About 3 days. I nodded. 3 days would be enough. When he returned, I hoped he would like the gift I had for him. Marcus actually followed me. Is there something you want to tell me? Say it first, I'll leave after, otherwise I won't be at ease. I smiled. Look, how considerate he was. Too bad, he was tainted. The thought of having been unknowingly sharing a husband for all these years made my stomach churn uncontrollably. Not wanting to see him anymore, I replied dismissively. Nothing, I was just asking. His phone rang again. He frowned, preparing to hang up again. I spoke up, answer it. It might be urgent. Marcus impatiently answered the call. After a few words, he moved away from me. His voice unconsciously softened. I understood, and discreetly entered the room. As the door slowly closed, Marcus happened to look up. In that moment our eyes met, the tender affection in his gaze hadn't yet faded. I watched him coldly, then resolutely shut the door. Marcus froze for a moment. His heart involuntarily tightened. Was it because of what? Was it because Chloe on the phone said she suddenly had abdominal pain, or Grace's indifferent expression? Marcus didn't have time to ponder. Urged by Chloe on the other end of the line, he symbolically packed a few items. And then he left for his business trip. After left, I didn't sleep. Instead, I sat alone in the empty room, in silence, deep in thought. My phone chimed with a message. It was Leo. He had sent back my transfer. And also expressed his displeasure. Taking money for a small favor for a friend? What do you take Leo for? I found typing too bothersome. So I just called him directly. When's resentful voice sounded, I suddenly laughed. After my laughter subsided, I replied, a friend. What kind of friend? We haven't seen each other in 5 years? You just cut ties completely, he complained. Have you finished looking at the files? I told you before, you can't just have work and Marcus. Love yourself first. Ant's attitude towards you isn't love, it's domestication. He just sees you as his possession. I nodded, then remembered he couldn't see me. I softly agreed, you're right. Leo, I'm very happy. And I'm sorry. Happy that I lost a terrible love and found a sincere friendship. Sorry that I had so easily given up on him and cut off contact. Leo was silent for a moment, then sighed. Fine, I guess I'm just too kind-hearted to hold a grudge. But there won't be a next time. If you ever dare to block me again, that's it, we're really done. I won't. I promised softly. Leo was one of the owners of the bar where I first worked. We got along very well, and he took good care of me, but disliked him intensely. And he didn't like Marcus either. Every time they met, they clashed like rival tigers defending their territory. We had argued countless times because of Leo. I felt he didn't trust me. He said there was no such thing as pure friendship between a man and a woman. Finally, he made me choose between him and Leo, friendship or love. I agonized for 3 days, and in the end, I chose love. That day, Marcus excitedly proposed to me. He said, Grace, I knew you'd choose me. Don't worry, I will never let you regret it, neither in your career nor in our relationship. But now, he was the one who wanted to push me out of the company. He was also the one secretly keeping mistresses behind my back. Both my career and my love would be shattered. So, do you have a plan now? Divorce? Given's possessiveness over you, he won't let you go easily, will he? Otherwise, he wouldn't have kept it a secret for so many years. Suddenly, many things came back to me. I remembered his angry face whenever strange men asked for my contact information. I remembered seeing his silhouette waiting under the street lamp every night after work, no matter how late. And I remembered his excitement after the successful proposal, as if he couldn't wait to announce our deepening relationship to the whole world. From my school days to taking a leave of absence, then joining his company. I had clearly consulted him at every step, and he had supported my decisions. So why, after achieving success and seeing our hard work pay off, did he start to despise my past experiences and look down on my education? He climbed to his high position step by step, built on my sacrifices, yet he turned around and blamed me for being covered in dust. It truly made no sense. So, the one who made the mistake should pay the price, right? On's first day of his business trip, Olivia screenshotted Chloe's social media posts. The accompanying image showed 2 shadows. The caption read, a blessing in disguise. While I've lost the chance to see him every day, a certain busy man made up for it with a spontaneous trip. Life has its ups and downs, but just thinking about us being in the same company every day keeps me motivated. She asked me, Chloe requested a week off. I heard Mr. Marcus is also on a business trip? Everyone was smart. Their words were enough. I didn't reply to her. I was preparing for a complete separation from Marcus. Since I had already planned to resign and give Marcus a surprise, my departure was simple. I just needed to submit my resignation letter. The complicated part was the asset division. Most of our major assets had been accumulated after marriage, so organizing everything, whether property funds or share division, was time-consuming and arduous. I entrusted everything to a professional team. I had only one demand: Marcus was the at-fault party, and I wouldn't give up a single cent of what I was entitled to. On the 3rd day, Marcus called me. He told me his plans had changed and he would need to return a few days later. I knew he was lying, as I had people continuously tailing them. but I still readily agreed. The longer the two of them stayed away, he more evidence I would have for the divorce and asset division. Why wouldn't I? When everything was almost ready, I signed the divorce agreement and handed it to my lawyer, then changed my SIM card and left Sterling City. The world was vast, and I wanted to see it. Over the years, at first, I dared not relax for a moment, all for work. I wanted to grow the company stronger with Marcus, achieve financial freedom, and prove that my initial choices weren't wrong. Later, these wishes came true, but new troubles emerged. We had always hoped for a new addition to our family, but the good news never came. I began focusing on my health, taking medicine. I turned down many social engagements and limited my social circle. At's urging, I gradually let go of most of my work and withdrew from core company projects. I traveled alone, stopping and going, visiting quaint towns and bustling cities. After letting go of everything and regaining my freedom, even the air felt sweet. I finally understood what Grandma had said, the world outside is wonderful, you have to see it for yourself. During this time, my lawyer contacted me, saying Marcus disagreed with the divorce and wanted to see me. I thought about it and realized there was nothing left to say between us. But the divorce had to happen. I asked my lawyer to tell him to sign the divorce agreement as soon as possible. I didn't want him to have an accident, only for me to have to fight his children born out of wedlock for what was rightfully mine. On the day I returned to finalize the divorce, I arranged to meet Marcus directly at the county's office. We signed the papers and obtained the certificate in silence. Everything went smoothly. As I was leaving, he stopped me. Let's talk. Through my sunglasses, I looked at his slightly haggard face. In the end, I sat with him at the coffee shop. You know everything, don't you? He began. What are you referring to? Your constant infidelity? You're swapping out my birth control pills. Or using trying for a baby as an excuse to make me leave the company? I countered. He raised a hand to rub his temples, trying to explain, but you're the one I love. They were just momentary infatuations. Even, haven't you noticed? She's very much like you when you were younger, pure, innocent, yet with that same reckless passion for love. Your health isn't great, and childbirth is too difficult. Why insist on carrying a child yourself? Wouldn't it be better to have someone else do it? Financially free at such a young age, with a loving husband and adorable children. Staying at home every day, raising a family, doing what you love, wasn't that your dream before? I suppressed the urge to slap him across the face. After taking a deep breath, I spoke. Thank you for your love, but unfortunately, your love is too selfish, I can't bear it. Actually, you don't need to confess under the guise of love. I know you don't want me to leave not because of deep love, but because you can't bear to lose my contributions. The accumulation of wealth has indeed earned you much admiration, but I believe you yourself can't distinguish how much of that admiration is for you as a person and how much is for your money. Marcus, admit it. You've long grown tired of this relationship. Seeing me only reminds you of your past failures and struggles. You're afraid of others bringing up my past in front of you, which is why you wanted me to withdraw from your social circles. Yet, you also enjoyed my complete trust and devotion, so you couldn't bear to let me go, choosing instead to keep me trapped under your wing, living according to the lies you spun. But why? Why should I be the one who gets deceived? Why am I the one who gets hurt? This was what I couldn't comprehend. As the beneficiary, Marcus had reached where he was today by leveraging my sacrifices. Now that he was successful, he couldn't possibly turn around and say my initial decisions were wrong. So, he chose infidelity. Why and deception? Marcus was stumped by my questions, and he looked at me in a panic, as if I were the one abandoning a loyal partner. After a moment, he finally spoke. I'm sorry. I didn't know you'd mind this much. I'll go back and break up with Chloe. Can we start over? I suddenly realized that he hadn't grasped his own wrongdoing. He thought he had merely committed a mistake that any man might make, and that if other wives could forgive, I would too. In his eyes, my divorce was nothing more than a tactic to get him back, because after all, I loved him. Loved him to the point he felt he could act with impunity. So, I was the one who had handed him the knife that could hurt me. Leo was right, love yourself first. I had finally understood, and I no longer wanted to say anything more to him. I stood up, put on my sunglasses, and prepared to leave. But, who had rushed over, blocked my path. Grace, you became Marcus's wife thanks to a bit of past kindness. And now you're using Marcus's guilt to take half his marital assets. How shameless can you be? Chloe became more agitated as she spoke. I just don't understand, an old woman like you, with a bad temper and low education, where do you get the confidence to get a divorce? Don't worry, once you leave Marcus, you'll never find anyone better. Only was foolish enough to treat you like a treasure. Slap. I shook my slightly numb palm, the slap had finally landed. Chloe held her cheek, staring at me in shock. I didn't lower my voice either. If you're going to be a mistress, then you should act with discretion. Since you're so eager to pick a fight, I won't hold back. Now, move aside. Strange glances flickered from the surrounding people. Chloe awkwardly moved to the side. Chloe was still too young. She didn't know her place. Flaunting slight affection in front of me. I used to wonder why Chloe didn't just quietly be his kept woman. Why did she insist on working? Later, I understood. She wanted to PR of herself, to prove that she had a higher education and was more capable than me. People are all greedy. First, they want money, then, they want affection, and finally, they want the title. No mistress doesn't want to become the official wife, because, after all, their love is true love, while everyone else's is just settling. But it doesn't matter, we'll see if it's true love. A month later, Marcus was taken away by the financial unit, suspected of embezzlement of company funds. All assets under his and Chloe's names were seized. When I divorced, I hadn't sought to reclaim any gifts he'd given during our marriage. It wasn't that I didn't know, but that I clearly understood those weren't marital assets. The investigation files Leo gave me were incredibly detailed. They specified the price of every gift Marcus had given. After our marriage, to show his love for me, the vast majority of our assets were in my name. His disposable income was only enough for bags and moderately priced jewelry. From the moment I decided to divorce, I started gathering evidence. Marcus thought my divorce was just a fit of pique. In reality, I was preparing for the division of our assets. The irony was, Marcus embezzled company funds to buy Chloe luxury cars, lavish homes, and high-end jewelry. When it came time to auction them off, he discovered that, apart from the residence they lived in, Chloe had already sold off the rest, including the jewelry. I wonder if Marcus knew. That pure and innocent girl he envisioned loved going to loss and also enjoyed frequenting upscale nightclubs. But it doesn't matter. After he's sentenced, I will visit him. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.